Yo, good looks to dreadsock.com for sponsoring this episode of Real Notes. Anyone who has curly or locked hair like me knows how sacred a good hair wrap is. A do-rag, a wave cap, a scarf, a bandana, a bonnet, you name it. Dreadsock goes a step beyond the average with silk-based head wraps that offer full protection and frizz control for curls from 2A to 4C. They're made of a blend of breathable materials to help retain hair's moisture and preserve hairstyles enough to ensure a few less trips to the salon, all held down with an elastic band strong enough to withstand even the most aggressive head trips. Whether you wear one to bed or wear one on the go, Dreadsock will have you looking fresh and full. Socks come in all sizes, from shorties for short hair and beginner twists to extra large for the longer locked folks out there. Look, y'all, I've been growing my locks for nearly 2 decades and have been a loyal Dreadsock customer for 15 years. So when I tell you these shits work, I'm dead ass. Plus, they're an independent, black-owned business that's worth the time and energy. So go to dreadsock.com and use promo code CineMasai, that's CineMasai, for 10% off your first order. They won't fall off in your sleep, but they will keep you looking fresh. Thanks again to Dreadsock for sponsoring the episode. Now let's keep this shit moving. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New Jersey rapper and multi-instrumentalist Reg Mason. We spoke about The Bear, Shameless, Oppenheimer, the 2006 comedy Accepted, the art of bootleg DVDs, how School of Rock inspired him to start making music, finding his love for hardcore punk and blog-era hip-hop, the importance of representing New Jersey in his music, keeping an open musical mind as you grow older, and the creative process behind his debut album, Test Drive. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back. This is the first Real Notes I've recorded, and I think maybe almost a month. I want to say like maybe 3-4 weeks. I've been on break. I needed it. Chicago was nice. Portillo's was cool. Yeah, it was good times out there. Happy to be home. Happy to be back in my element. Fucking yeah, we're here. Dylan Green, CineMasai. Got a lot of names. Do a lot of shit. Be around. If anybody in the tri-states around in because this is coming out a couple days before, so we're doing our first live one in Brooklyn with Fatboy Sharif, Steel Tip Dove. Gonna be a beautiful night. I'm printing out stickers. People are gonna be there. We're gonna do karaoke and give hugs. We're not doing karaoke, but it's gonna be fun. So come through. I'm gonna put the link wherever it goes in the bio. Y'all can find it. But we're with somebody here who this is a man who also does a lot of things and has been around for a while and was gracious enough to come on here maybe like hours after he broke his hand. I like kind of can't believe he's here after all this shit's happened. But fucking fellow Jersey boy, rapper, producer, singer, instrumentalist, diner goer, Union Zone. We got fucking Reg Mason in the house today. Fucking Test Drive's out now. Please go listen to it. Reg, man, thank you for being here. Like really, really happy to have you here, bro.
Of course, absolutely. I am so just like overjoyed like to be here because like as we said before, like maybe not to you, but to me, it's like it's been years in the making. I've been tapped into your material and like what you've been like your contributions to the scene for a long time now. So I'm glad to be here.
Damn, man, it's like I really, really appreciate that a lot. It's so weird to hear people say that to me, just like being at the point now where it's like, yeah, I've been like listening, reading. I'm not used to that, and it means a lot. I just like it's just always wild to be reminded of how far the words and the podcast and everything reach, and just to like be able to give back and just talk to people and put on for dope shit, especially since you're from Jersey. Like, yeah, like for people who don't know, we met for the first time at Mike's Young World maybe about 3-4 weeks ago. And we both found out that we were both from Jersey. And like, that was already, a big connection there. And like you said, like, like Jersey's been like, it's just been really beautiful between like the shit with Topaz and with y'all and just like all the club rap shit. Like, Jersey's really having a moment. I was just talking with Sam. Shout out to Sam about this right before y'all came on. But like, yeah, Jersey's having a beautiful moment right now, and I'm happy that I'm happy you're a part of that because yeah, I'm really fucking with Test Drive. It's great.
Really? Oh, okay. That's dope. That's dope to hear. Yeah,
Nah, man.
a lot of nights, a lot of sleepless nights, where it was just me and my main producer for the record, Curtis. We were just going at it for like 14 months straight, and then like we made a baby. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy that that is getting a warm reception. I'm glad people like it.
Hell yeah. Well, we're gonna get to all of that a little later, but I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here. What was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about, bro?
Strong opinion. It could be positive or negative.
Positive or negative, whatever you want.
I don't want to be super basic, but I feel like The Bear is like some of the best television that I've seen in like the past like 10 years, honestly. Like
I still haven't finished the first season. I love what I saw, but I just never got around to finishing it. Like, talk to me about the second. Like, how'd you like the second season so far?
second season, I'm about 2 episodes away from finishing it. I basically like ran through like 80% of the second season, and then I did like a hard stop because like a bunch of shit with the album started popping up, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna blow this load too quickly. I'm gonna savor this. I'm gonna savor these last 3 episodes or whatever. So the second season, it definitely dives deeper into kind of like the main character Carmi's, I guess, like psyche and his background and why he is the way he is. Because they only pull the veil back just a little bit in season 1, but season 2 you really get to dig deep into it, and amongst like other characters too. It makes you understand their actions and their characteristic traits a whole lot more throughout the show, even detailing back to season 1.
That's tight. Cause I came into The Bear because I was already familiar with Jeremy Allen White because I was a fan of Shameless for a long time. I stopped watching I think around season 5, but like I was already like super familiar with him as Lip and like everything with the Gallagher. So like just kind of like seeing the similarities and differences between Lip and Carmi has been like a lot of fun for me. That's why like that kind of gave The Bear an extra layer for me. And like having been to Chicago now twice because I came back like 2 weeks ago, like I kind of like I'm excited to really dig into The Bear, like having been to Chicago and kind of gotten a little bit like a little tiny taste of that food culture,
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, it's really wild when you think about it, because at least my experience with Jeremy Allen White's filmography is I watched The Bear first, and then I had to fill that void. So I watched all of Shameless in like maybe like in a span of like 4 to 5 months or whatever. And then by the time that I finished Shameless, season 2 got greenlit and it was coming back. And yeah, and both shows take place in Chicago. So it's like it feels
right.
like sisters in a way. Like,
Damn. So how'd you like Shameless? Because for a second I thought you were about to say you finished the whole thing in like 4 to 5 weeks, and I was about to ask like how you're standing. Because
no,
like
no. I mean, I did get through like the first 3 seasons in like, I want to say like a week and a half or 2. But
okay.
I'm not really into the binging stuff, because it's like,
Yeah.
especially with a show like that, like there's so many different plots going on at the same time. Every show's an hour long. Every season's like 15 episodes. Like, we got money to make. We ain't trying to do all that. Right?
Felt.
Right.
Fucking I'm trying to remember because the first like I started watching Shameless because I walked in at my dad watching it because it was like airing while I was in college, and he was watching the end of the first season when what was the blonde girl's name that Lip was in love with until she got sent to New Mexico?
I know exactly who you're talking. Not Karen.
It was Karen. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Karen.
so Karen, so it was Karen's father was jumping into the fucking ice water. He killed himself. That was like that was the first thing I saw from Shameless. So I'm like, what the fuck is this show? And I went back and started watching the whole first season because yeah, and then and like I I would watch it every Sunday with my dad up until I think, yeah, probably about season 5. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm cool off of watching the Gallaghers just like spiral every week. It got a little too intense for me.
They're just it's just so gnarly because like I feel like at least my experience with the show, a lot of people who are like longtime Shameless fans, like they definitely say like season 5, season 6 is probably the time to jump ship because then it starts to get into like, you know, like certain characters leave and then they come back and then shit's already like weird, writers change, and yeah, it's a odd show, but it definitely starts to divulge into a cartoon after a while. But it's the Gallaghers, so it's hilarious regardless, you know?
Right. Yeah, nah, like they're like the, you know, just like seeing I don't see I want to say this carefully because being like, oh, the dysfunction's half the fun. It's like that's like a kind of fucked up way to look at it because it's just like you're like watching these people. I mean, like they're actors, obviously, but like, yeah, it's just like the Gallaghers are just they're just magnetic. I don't know what it is. It's just like just shit keeps happening and you can't stop watching. You know,
I think
like,
that I think the thing that is so like attractive about like just the Gallaghers as a unit and like how they're depicted in the show is that I feel like it shows a level of poverty that is like really specific. Because like
yeah,
once you start talking about like white families and being impoverished, it's really easy to just throw them into like trailer park like white trash territory. And
yeah,
then it's like if you were to kind of shift that narrative and instead you're talking about a black family, more than likely they're gonna try and like lean into like the inner city, urban, hood, whatever the hell. But like
right.
but with the Gallaghers, they're like, oh, you're just poor as hell. You just trying to find a way to just, you know, like keep your head above water. I think that's a really interesting and very like that resonates with me a lot. Like them depicting poverty in that way in particular. You know?
Yeah, it's yeah, you know, like it's really visceral and like you know, like even if you haven't like lived it yourself and like it's the type of thing that even if you're just like around it, you know it. You know, like it's just like there, you know, like especially considering like the parts of Jersey that we come from where like there's this like really weird interesting mix of like ultra fucking rich people and ultra fucking poor people. Like it's really wild, you know, like that's like it's like I've told this like I try to explain it to people who've never been here before and and it's like it's just like it's like the difference between like driving from like upper Bloomfield Avenue in Montclair down to like the border of Bloomfield and Glen Ridge. You know, like it's like a night and day difference between the two different areas of town. You know, it's really insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I you know, like I definitely saw some of that in the Gallaghers. You know, like I couldn't relate 100%, but I
Yes.
got like I got like a solid like 30, you know, like, yeah, type
it's
shit.
like it's like once you get a glimpse of it, it's like you've seen the whole art piece. You know, you see where they're going with it.
Right. Yeah, nah. But no, I'm excited. But I'm excited to really like. I'm you know like I'm in a place now where I'm like not working on a bunch of crazy shit at the moment. So like there's like the Bears definitely on my list. I'm trying to finish that. Trying to finish the Righteous Gemstones. I think there's one more episode I got to see of that. Which is
Oh,
great if you haven't
Succession.
seen it.
That's another big one.
Yeah, nah, like Succession. I haven't started Succession yet. Like I'm at the point now where like look, the hype's died down, it's over, and I can just kind of watch it at my leisure. But like the thing to me, like Gemstones has been my Succession because like the shows are so similar.
Very
Like
kind of funny.
there's and you know like and you're like I have a parent who's a member of a mega church, so I
Really?
know. Yeah, my mom, love you, mom. Shout out to mom down in Texas. You know, I've seen. I'm like I haven't been to the church myself, but I've seen things. Let's put it that way. The Righteous Gemstones is a good time. They
You're like, oh yeah, like that's real. I've been there.
they got it. It's yeah, they're not fucking around. They got it.
And shouts out to Adam too. Like I'm a huge Workaholics fan. Like they're kind of like a big reason why I have the sense of humor that I have about like everything and stuff. So yeah, it was really cool seeing him like rubbing shoulders with like John Goodman in a show. Like it's just like how'd that happen?
Yeah, no, and he's killing it too. Like I love Kelvin's character. I love the whole thing with him and Keith. Just like I like at this point, I really hope that I hope they never become a couple. I hope they never fall in love, because the idea of them being so in love with each other and they have no idea is way funnier than it would be if they were together. Like they like they're obsessed with each other and they don't even fucking know it. It's great. I love it.
We're basically in like the same spot because like I've never actually started the Righteous Gemstones, but now it's kind of like The Bear and Shameless like being like sister shows in a way. Like
Yeah.
the Righteous Gemstones and like Succession kind of being about like at least like these families or these units where it's like they hold so much power over like public opinion and stuff. Like I definitely have to like jump into that now for sure.
Right, and they're all spoiled white kids who are like trying to appease their like geriatric fathers. Like
Yeah,
they couldn't be any more alike outside of the subject matter. You know, it's kind of crazy. Also, Eric Andre's in the second season of Gemstones, and it's maybe the best thing he's ever done outside of the Eric Andre show. He's incredible. Like the way it's great. I'm gonna gas it up. It's great. I love the Righteous Gemstones. Like it's I recommend it to everybody who, it's just one of those for me.
Like, all right, then you got me. I'll buy the car. You got me.
Yeah, no, I'm a finish The Bear, and you start Gemstones, and you hit me about it, and you let me know what you think.
Okay. I'm gonna hit you with a play-by-play for sure.
Come on, let's go. Before we get a little more granular, I was going through your Twitter and you saw Oppenheimer, and I haven't talked about Barbenheimer anything on here yet because I've been gone for a month. So, thoughts on Oppenheimer? I need to know.
Yo, that damn movie is wild. I feel like in a lot of ways, first of all, shouts out to Christopher Nolan just for like pushing the brink of what you can do for like in film, like to this day. But I feel like my opinions on Oppenheimer, it looks great. Like it looks like a really great. It's filmed very well. Cillian Murphy killed it. Like Oppenheimer was like a very eccentric guy, like historically speaking. So it's like I felt like Cillian definitely fit that mold really well. But there was a couple things that I found kind of distracting. Like for one, it's a very long movie, but it's also like really quick at the same time. Like really like it's long, it's quick, and it's loud. So I'm just like it's very easy, at least for me, to get kind of like overstimulated because they're like just giving you the whole Wikipedia page, just like mad information and stuff. But I don't know. In a lot of ways, though, I think that it's probably Christopher Nolan's, at least to me, probably my second or third favorite film by him. I'm a sucker for Tenet. I'm a sucker for obviously like being basic. I mean, like Dark Knight's influence on like filming and like the superhero fatigue that we all have now. I feel like Christopher Nolan's a big reason why like he was kind of like the front runner for like, oh, superhero films can be sophisticated too. You know? So yeah. But that was just my really long-winded way of saying Oppenheimer is pretty good. I enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah. I think like I don't know where it stands because like I have issues with Christopher Nolan. Like nothing that's like I think he's a terrible filmmaker, but like he's like he doesn't understand how human beings work. And it like really messes with like my perception of his movies a lot of the time. Cause I mean, like technically, like you said, like technically, like brilliant director, really good at getting like the granular technical details of a film together, making it look great, making it like immersive and like a whole experience. Did my fucking shit cut out? Sorry.
Throughout the whole thing, you good?
Oh, okay, cool. But like fucking he just like he's like a he's just like a sexless computer man who like writes about everything like so objectively, and it makes it really hard for me to like invest myself in the story sometimes. Like outside of like my favorite Christopher Nolan movie is The Prestige. That's gonna be the one that's never gonna get topped for me. Like like that shit's incredible to me. Like that and Memento and probably The Dark Knight. Those are my three favorites. I love those movies. And to me, Oppenheimer was interesting because I feel like this is the first time I feel like he's like fully like related to a character.
Oh yeah.
And like really been like, yo, like I see something in this man. You know, like I'm not just like trying to tell a story and make it look cool. Like he sees something in Oppenheimer, you know, just like you could tell by like the eccentricities and his vision and just like how you know, like middle of the road he was about the atomic bomb at first, and then of course he starts having regrets, and you know they're playing with whether or not he actually went okayed the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like you know, and you know, like a fun fact about the movie I just learned, apparently it was based on a specific biography. I forget what it's called right now, but like they adapted just about every single page of it they could. Like it was almost like a page for page adaptation outside of like a handful of there's like this whole long Vulture article that explains like what's real and what isn't in the movie. Like yes, he actually did poison his teacher with an apple. Like yes, he yeah, like there's it's I'm a find that article and link it at the bottom of wherever you're listening to this too. But you know, like I could tell that he really wanted to like relate to this person on like a seeing eye level, as opposed to just like being out and just kind of being like super duper objective. And it's weird because like Oppenheimer has all these eccentricities and like a full blown personality, and to me like every other character has like one or two traits, you know, like Emily Blunt Emily Blunt drinks a lot. Matt Damon's he's general like, man who yells all the time.
It's like kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah, you know, like it's like it's I had it's an interesting movie, really well made. I love the bomb sequence. The bomb sequence is one of the coolest things I've seen in a movie all year.
Yeah, the way that they approached that, the way that they handled that, and just like overall the presentation of it. I don't know why. I thought I should have known better. For some reason, I thought that it was gonna be on like some Michael Bay type time, like where it's just 15 minutes of just bah, 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 bah,
right,
like Waka Flocka ad lib, just like bah, 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 like
yeah
thing. But like the way that that sequence alone and Oppenheimer's response to like how well it went, that was just I've never felt more immersed in a film in like a really long time than like when specifically the sequence where like everybody was reacting and they were like congratulating him and like they were like stomping on the darn bleachers and stuff like that. And like also like I am an audio engineer and stuff like that, and like ADR and stuff like that. Like I like looking into stuff like that. So the fact that all that noise is going around and Oppenheimer is like in his own head, like kind of fighting with his morality of like, oh my gosh, I just created like the most threatening weapon this world has ever seen. Like that's gotta mess with somebody's psyche, you know? So I think the fact that they covered that so well, and like also capturing like how suffocating and claustrophobic like having those thoughts might feel, I thought that they handled that really, really well. That was probably like one of the coolest parts of the entire film. That and Benny Safdie just being a fucking jerk like the whole film.
I'm trying to remember who Benny Safdie was. I can't remember off top right now because I know he was in it, but like I was so invested that I didn't even like consciously recognize that it was him. So like, who was he? Remind me.
I don't even remember. I think he had like was he German? He had like a German accent or something. I don't want to.
Was he the guy who left to go to London? Was that him?
I'm trying to remember. I remember his character tried to leave like halfway through. He suggested that they do a hydrogen bomb instead.
Right. Okay, that's who he was. All right.
Yeah. And then
Right.
everybody
Okay.
was like, man, shut up. Man, everybody trying to listen to that. And then he was like, word, all right, I'm going to get my shit and get out. And then Oppenheimer was like, all right, chill out.
Please don't leave. Because he was about to leave and he was like, please raise this fucking barrier. And they raised the barrier and they're just like, we gotta, there's a lot of little moments in that movie I really fuck with. You saw it in 70 millimeter or IMAX or both?
Uh, nah, I just saw it at actually it's so lame. I saw it at the Village in South Orange and stuff. I just saw it in like regular theater and stuff. I wanted to capture it in 70 millimeter, but literally like on a day-to-day basis leading up to like everything going on like present day, like
Right.
I've been slammed with something that I like had to like do that was like pretty time sensitive and stuff. So like I was like, you know what? I got to see Oppenheimer. Still need to see Barbie too. I'm probably gonna see that within the next couple days and stuff. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to watch it. I want to experience it. And maybe if I get lucky, I'll be able to double back and do the 70 millimeter experience as well.
I feel you. Yeah, nah, I got lucky because they were playing it at the Paramus Mall in 70 millimeter, and I was like, yeah, I need that. Like,
that was so tight. Or whatever.
It was
like, where were you sat? Like on the seating chart? I know you weren't up front for sure. That's
it's funny. I was actually in the very last row of the front. I was in like row 5. So like I was in the perfect spot for it to not be like I wasn't in like row 1 looking like this, you know,
like the Willem Dafoe meme.
Exactly.
Like look it up.
But no, I was in the last possible row of the front section of the theater because I was gonna go earlier. I was gonna go earlier in the day, but I wound up I wrote this article for Vulture about the Drake tour, and fucking I wound up having to do edits on it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need like 3 extra hours. I gotta stay home and do this. And by the time I went to go book the other one, it was like all they had left was the first 5 rows, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're doing this. It could have been way worse, you know, like at least it wasn't like top 3. It could have been like it was a respectable distance, but I know the only theater in our area that's showing it in IMAX 70 millimeter, which is like even harder to come by, is the AMC at Lincoln Square in the city. So I'm gonna probably try to go do that if I can. Like it helps because I got like the AMC Stubs A-list shit, so it's not like I gotta pay for it. Yeah, nah, like it makes it so easy to go do bullshit like that, bro. Like like I don't even think about it. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna just reserve the ticket and go, you know.
Yeah,
like
that's a true luxury, you know what I mean? It's just
truly
like it's like you wake up, pay your rent, you know, like you have a nice roof over your head, and then go watch some stubs, you know what I mean? Go watch a movie on some stub rewards.
Yeah, it's really wild. Like I don't want to harp on it too much because they're not paying me for this. But like, yeah, it's like, no, yeah, it's really wild just to like be able to pay for a thing and then just open a thing and be like, yeah, what's playing today? Oh, I can go see that at 7 o'clock and just walk in. You know, like it's pretty wild. Like I pay, I think like
I did have one popcorn thought that just popped up in my head.
Please.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, it might not make as much sense. But speaking of AMC, you remember when people were freaking out about all those stocks plummeting and stuff?
Yeah,
stuff? Of course. So they made a film about that, like starring Pete Davidson and stuff. They shot the majority of that in Jersey.
Where?
Like Booton. I remember like right outside the studio.
Wow.
Yeah, right outside the studio. Of like one of the places that I go to, like me and my band, like we be tracking and stuff. Seth Rogen and Pete Davidson was just chilling, like at one of the local coffee spots, like up the street, and they were just chilling out and booting. I was like, this is fucking weird. I was like, they're filming a real deal movie about something that happened like 2.5 years ago. How that work?
Damn, that's insane. Like, is it out yet or not?
I think it's coming out within the next like handful of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just surprised at the turnaround of the story because it feels like it literally just happened. Like,
right.
it's so weird. But yeah,
they gotta fucking keep up with like Hulu and all these fucking like crime docs where I'm still so blown that they were able to get a documentary about the Young Thug trial out before the trial was even over. Like I'm still blown about that shit. Like Free Thug, obviously, but like I'm just like that shit really had me fucked up. Like they do that all the time. So I think that obviously like I'm sure this is happening before the strike happened too. So like they yeah.
movies are about to be so trash for the next like 2.5 years. It's like,
oh my god, it's gonna be insane. I'm not
ready.
looking forward to it.
I am ready because I'm gonna use all that time to just double back on all the stuff that I've been meaning to watch for years. I feel like it's a nice cooling down period, and I can see Indiana Jones 5 whenever the fuck I feel like it.
Right? Yeah. Do you even want to see Indiana Jones 5? I don't want to see Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, to laugh maybe.
Oh.
But
Poor
yeah.
Harrison Ford. Nah, he's got enough money. Not poor Harrison Ford. He'll be fine. But fucking nah, son. Now that we're talking about old shit, let's get granular with it. What's talk to me about the first movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater. It could be at your cousin's house. First thing that comes to mind.
So there's two films in particular that jumps into my head. I'm not entirely sure which one was the first time I remember seeing it in the theater. It might have been a double feature, but I watched You Got Served and Accepted, which is still one of my most favorite like comedy films ever made.
That's an insane double feature. Those are two completely different kinds of movies.
Yeah, You Got Served was just like, that's like one of those films like that and School of Rock like kind of shaped me into being like a creator or entertainer. But Accepted, I think that might have been like my first film that I've seen like in a theater and stuff.
Damn. So how old were you? What was that like? Like what and yeah, just like for anybody who doesn't know like what Accepted is, like talk about it a little bit. Like I've seen it. It's been years, but like
So Accepted, I think it came out in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. I was born in 99. So I was 5 when that dropped. And Accepted is about this kid who he's like so average that he doesn't get accepted into any of the colleges that he applies for. So instead of like admitting to his parents that, that's what was going on, he just creates a fake university. Like, and then he gets all of his friends that didn't get accepted as well. They get them in on it. And then by some sheer like weird technological error, they end up like accepting like everybody in their neighborhood that also didn't get accepted to any of the schools. And now like they have to figure out how to like turn this fake university that they created out of a mental hospital that was like abandoned, by the way.
Right.
They had to figure out how to create like this fake university, how to turn this into like something that's like actually real so that they don't end up getting like sued or whatever. Basically a lie. It's a lie that like goes on for like way too long, and they're just like, you know what, fuck it, let's just see where this goes. It's one of my favorite comedy films ever made.
Yeah, no, that was like one of like the early Justin Long hits. Like that was like I mean he was already famous by that point, but I think that was one of the first big like, oh man, this is like Justin Long like leading a movie type shit. And like there's one specific scene that I don't know why it's so deeply ingrained in my brain, but like you remember the scene where the guy who's like leading the home ec class, like there's like an explosion in there and he like blows out the door and he's like, what happened in there? He's like, and he just gets up and he just goes, it was an explosion of flavor. Like I don't know why, but like that specific line read has just been like it just pops into my head sometimes, like in the middle of the day I'll just be like, an explosion of flavor. Like,
there's so many quotables in that damn movie. Like that same guy, like I think he said he was like, hey man, like I got fired from 7-Eleven. And then he was like, oh wow, what happened? He was like, I was making a shrimp slushy. And he was like, why would you do that? Because I was hungry and thirsty. Something like that.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's so funny. Like, for
And it's
no
like,
reason.
who the hell gets fired? I don't know. Like, getting fired for making a shrimp slushy is like, that's something else, man.
Can you even get shrimp? I was just at 7-Eleven. You can't get no shrimp at 7-Eleven. How'd you get shrimp at 7-Eleven?
I think that's the reason why they fired him, because they brought his own and just started fucking with it.
That's different, son. I'm not mad at that, honestly. That's funny, but I'm not drinking this. I'm not drinking a shrimp slushy. It's not happening. Fucking so I'm stuck on this double feature aspect. Like, so like, did you watch You Got Served and Accepted back to back? Like, how'd that happen?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have to like double check and confirm with my mother, but I'm almost certain that that's what happened. I think we like watched You Got Served first, went out for like maybe like a breather for like 30 minutes, and then came back for Accepted, if I'm not mistaken. It's a fuzzy. My memory is a bit fuzzy. Usually I'm like on it when it comes to like films like by the year and stuff, but it's like I don't want to say like, oh yeah, we saw that back to back, and then like Accepted came out in January and You Got Served came out in like fucking November or something.
Right.
But I'm pretty certain that I have seen it in a double feature. I saw something after You Got Served. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just commit and just say it was Accepted.
Oh man, I'm with it. I'm buying the story right now. We'll fact check it later. It's all good. I'm trying to remember. Well, I didn't do the Barbenheimer double feature. I saw one day, and then I saw Barbie. I saw Barbie while I was still in Chicago, and then I came home and immediately saw Oppenheimer right after. But shit, I can't remember the last time I did like a double feature in like a. Well, no, actually, well, yeah. I think I told this story once before, but me and the homies at the time went to go see Capitalism: A Love Story, the Michael Moore documentary, and then we snuck into Zombieland right after that.
That's hilarious.
And Zombieland's one of my favorite comedies ever made. You know, like that movie that movie holds up stupid well. I'm like very surprised at how well that movie's aged, and how disappointed I was with the second one, because it's not good.
Yeah, it didn't need to happen. I mean, like,
no.
Sorry, hold on. I'm about to charge up real quick.
No, you're good.
Seconds. Okay, here we go. Yeah, my bad.
No, man, you're all good.
But yeah, I was actually pretty surprised that like things didn't go well, because it's like the campaigning for like Zombieland 2 was like so strong for like 10 years straight.
Right.
And then it dropped, and it seemed like just like, not that nobody cared, but like the people who pulled up, and then like it was just very disappointing. I guess, I don't know. I found it fairly forgettable.
Yeah, like the one bit of the movie that I thought was kind of okay, I guess, was when they went to, well, it wasn't Graceland, because they go to Graceland, and I think it got like bombed out or destroyed, and Rosario Dawson's like running like the real Graceland, and like her bit was cool, but I couldn't tell you anything else that happened in it. And that's like once again, like we're talking about quotables, like Zombieland, like so many moments, so many quotes. Like it's really like it's to me, it's an all-timer. I love that movie. Yeah. But like
the universe like of that film, it's like you would expect it to be so grim, but the fact that these four like outsiders are just like shooting the shit and just like having fun with one another, like when they're surrounded by like apocalyptic like circumstances. I think in a way like Zombieland is a movie that I could put on if I want to be like positive or something. Like it's a real movie in a weird way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like perseverance, just laughing through the pain type shit. I like that sort of stuff. You know, that's the type of person I am too. So nah, I feel that. Damn, I might need to rewatch Zombieland soon. Because
literally one of the rules was like enjoy the little things.
Yeah, now that's the most important one aside from the double tapping. It was double tapping and enjoy the little things that are like those are words to live by. Both of them. Fuck it. So like as you get a little older and you start having more life experiences and watching more movies, was there like can you remember the first time a movie really stopped you in your tracks and like really connected with you on like it doesn't necessarily need to be in an artful way, but like just something that really like just really connected with you and like oh, this is like more than a movie, more than like 90 minutes of entertainment type thing.
I really sit back and think about that. I will say that I do have my DVD collection is like it's pretty it's pretty good. It's like nothing insane, but I'd probably say Whiplash like really stuck with me.
Mm.
Just in terms of how do I really explain it? I guess like showing like the arc of like the obsessive artist and stuff. Like, and you could even apply that to another film like Black Swan, where it's
Oh, totally.
just like watching somebody that like is just so giving to their craft and like how it like diminishes them over time. Like that really resonates with me because that's even now like that kind of like I could kind of place that with where I was with like my record, where it was just like I didn't care what was going on. I was like, hey, yo, every day I woke up, every decision I was making was going towards this, you know. So like
Totally.
Whiplash definitely stuck with me. Um, Man, I feel like I was waiting for this question, and now I feel like I had like 10 movies, and now I got like just Whiplash, and like nah, there's got to be something else in the tank for sure.
While you think about it, I've actually been wanting to talk about this on here for a while because I I really enjoyed Whiplash up until the very, very, very end of the movie. Like, and like I've been thinking about ways to articulate this for such a long time because I know people love this movie, and I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but like
I think I have a good idea of what you're about to say.
I watched the end, and it kind of sort of felt like because I mean like the whole movie is about the whole movie is about how much I just kind of feel like it like endorsed I feel like it endorsed the thing it was trying to critique in a weird way.
I
Just
feel
like the whole like philosophy of like go all in and you could be great. And then like because I feel like it's trying to say like this is bad, but it also kind of like implicitly says this is good by having the two of them do the song at the end. Like it just sent me a bunch of these mixed messages that I was just like, what is this movie trying to tell me? You know, like
yeah.
and it was like but you know like you said it's a really interesting subject. It's really well acted. J.K. Simmons knocked it out of the fucking park.
Bro.
I can't stand Miles Teller. That's the best thing he's ever done. I can't stand the dude. I really can't. But like
His voice is off the charts, like in all the wrong ways, you know.
yeah, it's grating, bro. I can't handle it. But like because I've been meaning to go back and rewatch it because I saw La La Land. I really didn't like La La Land. I saw Babylon. I think that's the last movie I saw that I like despised. I can't remember the last time I like
You don't like
hated a movie.
Babylon?
I couldn't stand Babylon, man. I hated it.
I feel like a lot of it is like the mindset that you're in, like when you're watching a film. At least for me, I watched it with like two of like some of like my closest friends, and we don't take shit serious. So like when we were watching it, as soon as we saw like the elephant shitting on the camera, we were like, oh, we're gonna have a great time. Like I'm not taking this movie
Right.
serious or whatever, you know. But then
No, I get that.
But then I also feel like if I was to watch that film, like really, really excited and being like, bro, this is the lead up. Well, this is the follow up to La La Land. This is gonna be some serious da, 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 da. And then I watched it, I would be like, oh, yeah, no, that definitely wasn't what I intended for it to be. And stuff.
Right. I didn't see it with a bunch of friends. I probably would have had more fun with it if I did. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like it was so bad that I left, and I was like, Damien Chazelle might be a hack. Like he might just be like bad. But you know, but Whiplash is one in particular that I've really been thinking about my initial reaction to, and I really want to go back and watch it and see if that holds or if I was just being too harsh. But like I just like I saw Babylon, and once again I had the same issue of like, what's this movie trying to tell me right now? Like it, like, because like it clearly wanted to be this like huge sprawling, like this is what Hollywood was, and like this is why, this is the magic of cinema, and we're gonna tell this whole story, and like it's like split up into like 6 or 7 different stories, and they're like, I wish they would have focused on like 3 of them. Like the black trumpet player, his story was crazy.
That was cool.
Margot Robbie's story was crazy. Like if it was just like the black trumpet player, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt, like I understand they wanted to do the whole like classic Hollywood cinema thing of having like the one regular person who's like the audience POV character and all that shit, but like just like focus on 3 of the people, tell their stories. It was all over the place and just trying to do too much, and it was so proud of itself. And I
will say the one thing that really annoyed me about that film had more so to do with like kind of like how I felt about characters direction, like where the character was left off, more so than the actual film. That audience POV character you're talking about, I don't want to say his name incorrectly because I don't remember it, but like anybody who's seen this movie knows what I'm talking about. That guy ruined his life over Margot Robbie, and for whatever reason, like I just felt so like annoyed with that guy because I was just like, man, like she's a drug addict. She owed like what, like 50 grand in like
maybe 60 grand. It might have been more.
Yeah, like, and it's like 60 grand in like what was it, like the 30s or something like that, or
30s or 40s, something like that. Yeah,
which is like crazy. Like I don't even want to do the math on what that would be worth today. But like that, you don't just lose $60,000, especially
right.
So yeah, like that guy ruined like his whole life, and then she ended up just like ditching old boy. Like,
and then she died. Like,
yeah, I was like, well, what the fuck was that all about? Like,
right.
What am I supposed to learn from this? Like, don't trust people from Hollywood. Don't get romantically entangled with a drug addict. I know that already. You didn't have to tell me.
Right. And then on top of that, son gets a whole family. He's got a wife and child, and then they go to the movies at the end, and he's just like sitting there like crying at the montage, and I'm like, you did this to yourself, son. Like, why are you crying right now?
I'm be honest, like you kind of like opened up a can of worms now, because it's kind of like all coming back to me. I feel like me on some MK Ultra type shit right now, because the minute that you brought up that scene, I remember being in the theater and being like, wow, this is a really fucking long scene, because that was like, he was in the theater and I could have sworn for like 10 minutes straight it was just showing like a bunch of random footage, like Nat Geo type time, and then it ended with them crying, and I was just like, for some reason this feels very like masturbatory, like literally like Damien Chazelle is just like, cinema, it's great, isn't it, on his own fucking movie. Like it's kind of like,
and I'm it's that's what I mean, man. Like it just, I couldn't stand that. Like like if you're gonna make a movie like that, you gotta make it like bulletproof. It's gotta be like, you gotta make something like, I'm trying to think of like the last really long movie that like really, I mean, like I'm not necessarily opposed to movies being long as they're good, but like if you're gonna make the movie that long and be talking that much shit about like, oh, this is great and here's my place, and like you really got to make sure it's like unimpeachable type shit, and it just wasn't. It just didn't do it for me.
So I take it you're not really like a big fan of The Irishman.
See, I never finished The Irishman. I wanna see.
Literally, like I went up to the menu page on Netflix. I was like, Joe Pesci, banger. Robert De Niro, banger. Al Pacino, banger. Dylan, when I saw that goddamn timestamp, I was like, deal breaker. I was like, what the fuck do you think this is? I'm not spending 4 days watching. I'm not like, it's like the span of like 4 like 90-minute movies connected together. I was like, bro,
right,
you got shit to do. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, they gotta like, cause I'm fairly positive. Didn't they split it up into like episodes like they did with the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, where it was like, which I did that, by the way, and I'm so, once again, I love you, Dad. Shout out to my dad. He wanted to watch that. I sat and watched it with him. It's awful. The first movie was terrible. The second one was even worse.
Oh my God.
Those movies are fucking dumpster juice. I can't handle him. But
Now,
but
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I feel that. I mean, even with Zack Snyder and stuff like that, he got Watchmen.
Oh
That
yeah.
was, yeah, I mean,
Watchmen is brilliant. I love I love 300. Like I know a lot of people don't love. I know it's like kind of like a joke at this point. I loved 300 when it came out, man. Like there was nothing like that at the time. You know, like it became a cliche because of 300, and I think that movie's great.
watching 300 was my experience with 300. The first time seeing that in the theaters was really funny because I had no idea that shit actually happened. Like I had no idea that there was like historical, like, oh, like you're telling the story of something that, like, you know, this is history we're talking about.
Right.
So here I am. I'm like 7. I'm like in the chair. I'm like, all right, about to watch. They're gonna get into a fight. There's gonna be a war going on. Somebody got kicked in a fucking pit or whatever. This is dope.
This
All
is
right, man.
Sparta. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I'm thinking we telling a story about perseverance and Sparta gonna win, right? And then my mom pulls me to the side. She's like, "Hey, yo, you know them niggas ain't winners."
You were just like,
I was like, "Yo, what? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yo, 300 against how many of them they was fighting?" He's like, "Yo, this shit's simple math, bro. Nah, they ain't win." And then now I'm watching it. I'm like, "Damn." So I feel like I'm like watching like a train wreck like about to happen. Like, and it was just, yeah, 300 that was tough. I think that was the first time I've watched a film that like didn't have like not even a happy ending, but just like an ending that I thought it was gonna go in, and I just had to
right.
like sit with that. You know?
Oh man, that's so crazy. I see. I don't think I might have like. I think I only knew that it was a real thing because I had like read about it before I saw the movie. I saw it at my boy Harry Field's birthday party. Shout out to Harry if he's listening. His dad took like me and like 5 of his other friends, and like the scene with Lena Waithe, like them having sex in the fucking like in the
Oh yeah.
bed with the shut. So like I'm just thinking like you know, like I didn't think about it at the time, but looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I really just like watched titties with like my friend's dad in the theater, and that was just like super awkward. You know,
Wait,
like
wait,
it's a weird
wait. I
experience.
just realized something. Lena Waithe ain't that the writer for The Shy?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. No. Oh, wow. See, nah.
Yeah.
I messed up. Damn. What was her?
That's an ill revisionist like sort of way to approach 300 though, right? You know, just start
Yeah.
implementing people from The Shy, or just like
Oh my god,
just like
son.
writers
Not
in general.
even.
Be like, hey, yo,
Not
what the fuck is Edgar
even.
Wright doing here? And picking people in the pit, you know? Yeah.
Lena Haiti is her name. Lena Haiti
I
is
was
her
like, wait a
name.
minute. She was up in there. What the fuck was she doing in
Oh,
Sparta?
she was she was hanging with Xerxes, bro. Nah, that was man. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lena Haiti. That was Lena Haiti. Also, yeah. Shout out, yeah. Shout out to Harry. Shout out to his dad, Marty. He passed away not too long ago. Much love to him. Just wanted to say that because he was the man.
My dearest
Wow.
condolences.
No, thank you. Just yeah, that just went like 80 different places that I didn't expect it to. I fucked up, but
That's the clip right there for sure. It's
come
like,
on.
Anna Wave wasn't 300. Who's the source? Me. I'm the source. Give a damn. Don't check that. Don't fact check that. It's real because I said
Please don't. Let's talk about music, Reg. when did when did you start liking music, Reg?
I think the first pretty much since the beginning. My mom played like Jackson 5's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and I was like, oh, that person that's singing sounds like me. I think I'm gonna try and sound like him. And then I sung, and then mom was like, oh, that's pretty good. You should keep doing that if you want, or whatever. And then I got I say this every single time. Like I got a bootleg copy of School of Rock at my pop's house. And then I was like, oh yeah, like I saw like the kid on the drums, like how he would just be like and like just watching like Jack Black like write a song in real time with the class. Like there was just something about the way that he like took songwriting and broke it down into increments that made so much sense to me as like a 4 or 5 year old, where I was like, you know what? this is what I'm gonna do. Like this is it. And I was 4, so that was like 20 years ago, which sounds that just hit me in my chest there, just saying that. But but yeah, so basically since I was like literally like a little tyke, I knew that I wanted to do music at like a really early age.
That's crazy. Also, School of Rock is great, and I had meant to bring that up because I actually heard you say that before. And you know, like School of Rock is a movie that I feel like a lot of people of a certain generation love, but we don't like talk about super often. Like we all love it, you know. Like it's like I don't know anybody who doesn't like School of Rock. The thing, I mean, like as much as I love that movie, the thing that always gets me about it is that it starred Jack Black and Mike White. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like their last names are Black and White, and their and like their first name rhymes with the last name, like Jack Black and Mike White. That was the first thing I noticed when the movie starts, and I would look at the credits and I see the names, and I'm like, oh wow, Jack Black and Mike White. Like I don't know. I was a weird kid, but that movie's great. I love the story. I love the music. I love Jack Black. Jack Black's an icon. You know, it was right after or not right after that. It might have been like 2-3 years after, or what year did School of Rock come out? That was like
03, I want to say.
03. Okay, so I think Tenacious D might have started a couple years after that, and that was because I saw the Tenacious D movie in the theater. Tenacious D.
You saw Pick of Destiny in the theater?
I saw Pick of Destiny in the theater.
We saw
it for my birthday with a bunch of people, including my cousin Jarrell. Shout out to Jarrell. Yeah, that was a wild movie to see in the theater, man.
I'm actually so jealous because like I was obviously like way too young to be watching stuff like that, so I had to resort to YouTube. And I remember YouTube had an upload time limit. I think like a video couldn't go past like 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, so I had to watch like a 24-part compilation.
Yeah,
of the damn movie.
That's
and then
the time.
they put in a playlist. Sometimes they wouldn't put it right, so it's like part 1 would go to part 4, would go to part 8. So now I'm going from video to video, and then I'm like, oh wait a minute, nigga, I'm in the 3rd act already. I don't know what's going on. I'm only 15 minutes in, so now I gotta make my own playlist and all this other stuff. So yeah, I'm actually really jealous. I don't think I've ever seen the Pick of Destiny in full, like in one sitting, because I'm so used to like, okay, like by the time that like it gets to the part where like Kyle Gass and like and Jables meet at the theater, I know I'm going to have to click out of this, press the X button, and start fishing for the next part and stuff. So yeah.
See, I relate to that, but not with that specific movie. I've never seen White Chicks all the way through, from front to back in one sitting. See, no, I've seen the whole movie, but I've never seen it in one sitting from beginning to end. Because I saw it with my dad and my best friend Solomon. The 3 of us saw it, and then my grandmother wound up going into the hospital. My dad got a call like maybe about an hour into the movie, so we obviously left to go check on her. And then fucking every time I would catch it, it would be like on TV halfway through, or like I'd see it at the beginning and then have to leave, and then or like I'd come in and it's like 20 minutes left. So I've seen the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I could quote the whole movie, but I've never watched it front to back ever in my life.
FX were the kings of that shit. Like playing like a movie that was like an hour and a half and turning it into like a 4-hour experience. So it was like impossible to watch it all the way through. Because who the hell is trying to do that, you know? So they used to always have like White Chicks. I feel like, I don't know if like the Wayans like caught like an FX executive doing something they wasn't supposed to do. It was like, hey, yo, you're going to play White Chicks forever on your neck. All right. So yeah, that definitely resonates with me. White Chicks. I got lucky because literally like bootleg, straight back to it. You go to the spot, go to the barbershop. Get you some White Chicks, get you X-Men Origins Wolverine, the one that got leaked, so you can see all the wires and the CG.
Yep. Oh man. Oh god.
One of the most wild bootleg like bundles that I ever got was Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties.
2 kittens.
Waist Deep with Tyrese Gibson.
Wow.
and See No Evil with Kane.
That's that what?
That makes
That's
no sense at all.
those three movies together is so wild.
Like my dad just came home. He was like, "All right, pick one of these." I was like, "None of these movies are even like, bro. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Pick."
Yeah, no. What little child is trying to watch Waist Deep with Tyrese Gibson? That's a crazy movie, by the way. I've seen it recently. It's actually really, 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 really good. But like, it's just that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, that movie's not meant for the weak.
Hell no. fucking my aunt. I think the first bootleg movie I ever got. My aunt bootlegged, or she got a bootleg of Shark Tale, and she brought that to the house for me and my sister. We watched that. That was a good time. I love,
bro.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like I still think about the fact that Martin Scorsese was the pufferfish in that movie. That's like that, and the fact that was when I first learned that Bob Marley had kids, because Ziggy Marley did the cover of Three Little Birds.
Yeah,
and my dad, and my dad was like, "Oh yeah, that was like, that was fucking that's like Bob Marley's kid." I'm like, "Really?" And like, that's when I first learned about. No, because I knew about Damien, because I was a big fan of fucking the album that Jamrock was on, because that song is great. But like, I didn't know who Ziggy Marley was, and I was like, "Oh, is he related to Bob?" And it's like, yeah, he is. But Shark Tale's a wild movie.
I actually just got one of the jokes. I feel so stupid. I actually just got one of the jokes like from Shark Tale, like maybe like I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. So in the beginning sequence where like Oscar's like swimming through the whole city and stuff like that, and then they cut to like a shot of like this fish and like a sushi bar, and there's nobody in it and everything, and he's just looking around like really thinking about the decision that he made, and then, like or whatever. I never understood that, and I was like, oh, they're cannibals. I was like, oh, it's like it's a fish selling fish. That's why nobody up in there. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense now. I never got that as a kid.
I haven't seen the movie in so long that I forgot about. I'm excited to go back and rewatch Shark Tale. It's been long enough, and there's been enough memes that I'm like, okay, like that's the reason I went back and rewatched Akira. I rewatched Akira like a month and a half ago because of the fucking the Kaneda, no, excuse me, the Tetsuo, leave me alone. Like I saw that and I was like, yeah, no, like I gotta go back and rewatch, because the movie just turned 32. But this could be this has already been so great. Like we could talk about this shit for hours. Like this has been so fire so far. But before we move on to like your music, like proper, well, I mean, I feel like we kind of already talked about this, but it never hurts to like, like specifically ask, like, when did you, like, was there a moment, or rather, when was the first moment that you like linked music and film together as two things that could like consciously, or not consciously, but like complement one another? Like, did that ever happen for you? I don't know why I asked that question so weird. But
oh no, I totally get what you mean. I think I had to think about that a little bit. I'd probably say this is gonna be kind of funny. I bought the Roll Bounce soundtrack at FYE.
Oh yes.
And then the first time that I heard like Le Freak or something like that, I was no. I heard Bill Withers' Lovely Day for the first time through the Roll Bounce soundtrack. And I think I bought the soundtrack before I even saw the film or whatever. I was just a big Bow Wow fan, so anything he was in, like I was like, hey yo, that's me. I'm in there, So yeah, I was just listening to Bill Withers a good amount. And then I saw the scene that it took place in. And it was just a beautiful scene of just like Bow Wow just like skating through his neighborhood. Like it's like a very warm textured shot, and then they throw on warm textured music, Bill Withers' Lovely Day. And I was like, oh, this is an experience right now. Like this isn't just like, oh yeah, let's just throw something on top of this. Like somebody was really thoughtful about this shot and was like, I know exactly what this needs. So that was the first time that I remembered like truly like it being complementary to one another, like music and film.
God, like, and yeah, once again, another movie that I feel like everyone loves but nobody talks about. Like roll bounces. Like Fucking Primswood Cinema just put out a recap that I haven't watched yet. I gotta go do that later. I've been meaning to. Shout out to Moses too if he's listening. I don't know if he's listening, but Primswood Cinema is my favorite thing on YouTube. They're great.
I'm such a sucker for like video essayists. Like I literally like there's like this one video essay that's like 3 hours long, and all it does is covers like the whole first season of Mr. Robot. I've seen that season multiple times, but since it was a video essay, threw it on. Just didn't care. Like, and I sat through. I wasn't doing anything either. Like, I think I was like in between like writing a song or whatever. But like, there's just something so comforting about somebody talking about just such unnecessary information that I don't need to know about, like at all, and just packaging it. And it's just like, hey, here's 3 hours of your life. Spend it with me. Like, I just love that. That's why I love video essays so much.
Yeah, no, they're great. You know, like it's it's just like a great place to it's just like a great place to either get validation or just like be schooled on shit that you like. I don't know. Like that's just the way my brain works. Yeah. I like to really dig into the shit that I enjoy, and like video essays are a really easy way to do that. I was watching one on Jet Set Radio Future because this person made a whole fucking like hour and 40-minute long like feature length document, like their own documentary about the creation of the game, and they talked to a bunch of people who helped make the music, and a bunch of people who like were it was really something, you know, like, and like that's like Jet Set Radio Future is one of my favorite games ever created, and a big part of the reason why I love dance music the way I do. You know, like the soundtrack was like a crucial part of my growing up. So like that was the last one of those that I saw that like really had me locked in for real.
Yeah. I need those links for sure, because it's like I have a playlist. I like like just stacking up. I'm like, this as soon as I get even a remnant of free time, I'm throwing all these on. Sure.
Let's go. Shit. So yeah, now that we're here, talk to me a little bit about growing up in Jersey and your childhood, and when you first realized that music was going to become more than just a hobby for you.
Okay, so just out the gate, like when I was born, like my mother and my dad were like already separated. So like we lived in like my childhood was like a bit different. It was like two different neighborhoods. I lived in Union my entire life with my mom. And then my dad, we started off in Orange, which was like a bit like it was a bit rugged and stuff. And then we ended up moving over to Hillside, which is definitely less rugged. It's like it's suburban, but it's like you make the wrong turn, and now like there's like a factory building and like a bunch of people like doing whatever. It's probably something that they ain't got no business doing over there. But for the most part, like I lived like a really cool childhood. It was everywhere, no matter where I lived, it was extremely diverse. So there was a lot of opportunity to be exposed to different cultures, different ideologies, and I felt like it definitely helped me to create like a well-structured and secure kind of just way of thinking for me growing up. And I kind of had to be used to that anyway, since like living in two different households, and both of my parents could not be more different than from one another. Like my mom is like very youthful and liberating, and just like she's always been like really supportive with like the arts and like me being creative. And my dad is like very stern, straightforward guy. He was like born in the 50s and stuff like that. So a lot of his ways definitely probably wouldn't translate to today all too well. Like some might say that he might be a bit rigid in his thinking, but regardless though, like I take bits and pieces from both of them, and I feel like that matched with you know, my own exposure to like hardcore at a young age, like hardcore punk. And my brother and stuff like that, we have two different fathers, but he kind of like our connection growing up, he would just play records all the time out of this big ass bass amp that he would sometimes use to play shows and stuff because he was in bands here and there. But for the most part, he would just use that bass amp to just crank whatever the hell was on. He would just blast it. And he put me onto a lot of great bands. Like Envy on the Coast was like a really great alternative band. That was probably like the first CD that I remember buying with like some of my own money. Slipknot, Winds of Plague, Oceano. The homie Omar would probably know a lot of these bands. Oceano, Day to Remember. I remember Day to Remember. That was a band like that. My brother was responsible for like introducing me to them. And then over time, I just started getting into like underground, like abstract, like hip hop, like that was like left of center. So my brother showed me "I'll Sleep When You're Dead" by LP 13, and I was like, "Fuck whatever that was. What is this?" And then from there, like I just immediately got hip to Def Jux, which then brought me closer to kind of like just like cats who made music closer over by me and over at the Midwest too, like i.e. Rat King slash like Wiki and Sporting Life. They were like a huge influence to me. I remember buying the Fader where it was them and FKA Twigs sharing a cover.
Oh, I remember that cover. That's a good one. Yeah,
that was the first magazine that I ever bought with my own money and stuff like that, like in print, and I still got it. It was Rat King, Run the Jewels, Das Racist was a big influence on me. Stuff like that. I felt like The Last Huzzah with Mr. Motherfucker Esquire is still like the greatest posse cut ever made. I saw that at like 11 and I was like, yo, I want to make friends like these guys so that I can rap alongside my friends like these guys are doing.
That song is dope.
Who else? Idea and Abilities was huge for me. Danny Brown still continues to just be like a trailblazer for like the Black youth and like expressing yourself in like ways that not everybody might understand, but it's hard regardless, you know? And
yeah, Danny's an icon, man. I love Danny Brown, just on the record. He's great.
Yeah. But a lot of my taste just comes from like just like my brother, like he would like plant the seed and then I would kind of just like dig down the rabbit hole from there. He's also responsible for me finding out who Childish Gambino was, like way before any of this whole like soul, like even camp type time. Like he showed me that he would play I Am Just a Rapper
Just
too.
a rapper, yeah.
Constantly. There was this one track where he would play both, I think it was Both Hands or whatever and stuff like that, where he's like, I am so different, being me is like the lottery, I'm so on like the TV when you fall asleep. And I was like, yo,
Oh
I would talk to my brother. I'd be like, yo, whoever this is, she's hard, bro. She got the fire voice, man. I love whoever this is. I love her. And my brother would be like, hey, yo, look at the cover. And I was like, nigga, is that the nigga from Community? What are you doing on the cover? No. Who is this? Like this has to be. I was like, hey, yo, just tell me whoever this is, and then we'll be fine. And they'd be like, that's bro. And I was just like, all right, this is wild. So yeah, it's just from hardcore punk over to like my heart will forever be in like blog era stuff because that's where a lot of my tastes and a lot of my artistic kind of intuition comes from, at least as far as like what's dope and what's not. And I know we're like obviously like so far past that, but it's like Pitchfork. And like it was always a dream of mine to like have a Fader cover and stuff like that. So it's like around that time, like those publications were like big for like me finding out like artists that like I still love to this day.
Man, yeah, just like that whole. There's so much I want to touch on. I don't know how much time we have, or no, we got time, but like just like there's so much there. Like I'm trying to think of even. Okay, so first, do you remember? Because my first experience with Gambino was right before Cul-de-sac came out. And like I went back and listened to like all the he had two tapes that weren't the I Am Just a Rapper ones. It was Sick Boy and Poindexter.
Yeah.
And
rough.
There's it's just all Kanye and Wayne worship. It's pretty garbage, honestly. Like going back and listening, I'm like, ugh. Like I was rocking to some weird shit, but like he son had he had an MC Chris feature on Sick Boy.
Yeah.
Like he went from having an MC Chris feature to being like the biggest rapper on, or like, not the biggest, but like he's huge now.
Yeah.
So like I just think about like those Sick Boy songs and him just like doing nerdcore with fucking MC Chris.
Literally.
And then like what a weird time. Like
Yeah.
what a
one of the
weird
pioneers of nerdcore too, not just anybody. Like, bro, that's for the shorties. That's sirloin, bro.
Exactly. Him, you know, between like him and like Front a Lot and all, it's like Jesus Christ. Like so it's just like that, and yeah, just like just like the hardcore punk shit. Like, you know, like I actually dabbled quite a bit. It's been a long time since I've like really been tapped into the scene, but you know, just like shit like fucking like, you know, like your Slipknots, and I was listening to a lot of Black Flag coming up, and like, you know, like all the pop punk shit. I was all into all of that for a long time. And you know, like when I got to college, like I had a lot of friends who like frequent the hardcore scene, so they were putting me on to all sorts of crazy shit. And like of course, you know, like around that time I was big into Trash Talk too. You know, since I was like a big Odd Future fan, like Trash Talk was my thing. Like I used to be at every fucking Trash Talk show they played in the city. Like those are some beautiful times. Like I don't know,
Lee,
man.
Bro.
Like,
shout out to Lee.
Honestly, yeah, no, shout out to Lee, shout out to Brandon, shout out to all of them, man. Like they're so dope. And you know, like I've always been really fascinated with the intersection of punk and rap, because obviously they share a lot of DNA. I'm just like so mad at myself that I can't just like pick out specific names right now, but like that's like, you know, I just like that's what makes your music so fascinating to me, because like you can tell that you like both of these things, but it's not you know, like you don't feel like someone who just like picked it up because they remembered that they liked Misery Business by Paramore one day and we're like, yeah, no, which is also like, that's fine. I don't want to say that that's like a bad thing, but like it's a difference to me, at least, like at this rate, you know. So as you get older and these like music influences start to coalesce, like when did you like start really putting pen to paper and like fingers to guitar and to MPC or whatever you were using and like actually make music?
Yeah. Age 10, I like wrote my first song and stuff like that. I still remember it. It's so ass now, but it was called Surround Sound.
Hell yeah.
And I still kind of remember the chord progression a little bit, but like the melodies, it was very like bonfire, no shoes on. It was kind of like some Dirty Heads type time, like almost reggae like. But yeah, like probably around like, I think I got my first drum set at like age 5 or 6. It had no snare. It was just 2 toms and a cymbal. And I was like, and then I would just be like, you can even see it in the Handshakes video too, where I'm just like for 2 seconds, I'm like fucking around with it. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like how I think this should sound like. And I'm like, oh wait, it's because like half of the kit is fucking missing.
That'll do it. Like,
but yeah, but we got started on that. My parents started investing in like my creativity like fairly early and like nurturing that. So like from age 5, got my first drum set. I think I got my first guitar at age 8 or 9. Didn't touch it for like a really long time until like I got into like Green Day's discography, and I saw how simple their songs were, and I just started learning a bunch of riffs. And then after that, I kind of just always, like from age 10 onward, I just always would write songs like constantly and like work on like my songwriting skills, understanding arrangement, structure, and just kind of just trying to find out the ins and outs as towards what makes a song work. And I'm still learning like day to day, and it's been like it's been awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those like easy to learn, hard to master, like always a student of the game type things, you know. And you know, like going back through as much of your older music as I could find before we get to Test Drive and Speedway. I went back and I found the sci-fi concept album you and Black Magic made, GVMT. And I was just like, because like I see something like that, and the first place my brain goes to is like Deltron 3030, because like Del the Funky Homo Sapien was like a huge influence on me. Kind of like he was like a bit before my time, but like I found Deltron through Gorillaz, naturally, as everyone does these days.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was like, oh, like this is like, just like hearing like a rap sci-fi concept album was just like a, like the nerd, just me was like, it was a whole head bust, bro. Talk to me a bit about the idea behind this project and like what inspired y'all to do that, because it's like it feels like such a singular moment compared to everything else you've made. Like
that's because it was. So basically, Black Magic is this guy who I went to high school with, but we never really got connected until maybe he graduated 2015. I graduated 2017, but we didn't really get connected till 2019, I want to say. And his whole thing is space, like outer space, like anything that's like remotely sci-fi, like that's him. And me, like I think that it's at least for like my songwriting and stuff, I always think that it's great to like kind of like get acquainted with somebody who like makes a certain kind of music, and that could keep me on my toes and stuff, because a lot of the production that he comes with is like really it's really difficult for me to kind of like find like my way on top of. But the idea for the album or the project or whatever it is what I call it, it really just came from a place of, hey, we want to see how far we could stretch like trying to fit a narrative in a record that's really enjoyable, and we want it to feel like Saturday morning cartoons in a way too. So I was like, all right, if we're gonna be like sci-fi and we're gonna talk about a city, I was like, we need a setting. And if we're talking about like somebody that's kind of like, like on their own path, doing their own thing, and they're in a dystopian like city, you gotta go to Blade Runner. I was like, Blade Runner's right fucking there. So like we just played so much Blade Runner, put it on mute, was making music while like that kind of like fit that area. And then it took us a really long time. It took us, I want to say like 3 years. I want to say like 3 summers, because I was also in another group called Vibe World Order, and we were like, we had a bunch of stuff going on. Like we were playing Afro punk, got signed to a label, had to crank out an album. And
okay, wait a second, way to bury the fucking lead. I'm sorry to cut you off, but what? See, this is all news to me. This is all news to me, so I'm just blown.
Yeah, I was really, 2019 was like a really busy year for me and stuff. Yeah, because I was in a group, a collective called Vibe World Order, and we still operate like pretty loosely. Like we're basically kind of just a label now, like for like our friends to like slap their names on their records and stuff. And we try to help each other out with like our like resources as much as we can, like from a like an indie perspective. But
Right.
yeah, also another fun fact, Groovy, the song Jersey Love that's like going crazy right now. Groovy was in that with us. We all grew up together.
Got you. Okay. And that and that's what VWO is. I just noticed, because that's where you put. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, VWO. Yes. Yeah, so we all grew up together in high school, and VWO was kind of just like a boot camp for us to like become like better songwriters, producers, and stuff. And we actually, how we got into Afropunk was really crazy, because we only had like one song out, I want to say, and like I was sending over stems for GVMT, but then I messed up the stems. Like Black Magic was like, hey yo, can you these are wrong, can you just send me like a new batch? And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then as I was getting ready to send over the new stems, there was just this big ginormous banner like in my notifications that said Afropunk last day to submit applications for Battle of the Bands or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know they were doing that. All right, I guess I'll send them the one song we got.
Might as well. Fuck it.
If it works, it works. And we got in. And they were like, all right, here's round one, do this, that, and the third, and then round two, we got to perform, and then round three, everybody ended up winning. And like in a completely weird sort of like how do I even explain it? It felt like the ending of like what every single movie where it ends at like a competition, like Jump In, or like You Got Served, or like I don't even know, like Revenge of the Nerds or some shit like that. Like it felt very much like a Disney Channel movie where literally like they were reading off the names and then they were like, all right, so this band that's not us won. Then everybody's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, y'all enjoy Afropunk, man, and we were all good sports about it. And then in a complete turn of events, the announcer was like, yeah, but y'all remember how we told y'all that everybody's a winner this entire time that y'all been doing this? Everybody who has been performing for this Battle of the Bands has been so dope. Y'all all going to Afropunk. And we were all
crazy.
Like, what? We started crying on stage and all this other stuff because that ate up our entire summer. Like it really pushed us to like put out more music, and we were kind of just gonna leave it at there after that summer. But then we got picked up by a label by the name of Plus One Records. So we were like, yeah, all right, give them a record, and then we'll all go on our way, do our own thing, and then if we want to regroup later, we can do that. But I never stopped making music like on my own and like collaborating with other people. I feel like that's how you keep the sword sharpened,
Right. Yeah. No, like you can't. Like it's not always like riding a bike, and you just gotta like really keep at it and like do your thing, and that's how you become, your own person. And like you start, and you clearly started making your own other shit, and you make it to before we talk about Test Drive specifically. I was obviously listening to Speedway and Test Drive. What's the driving concept here? Because going from Speedway with the checkered flag and just like, yes, like what's the driving concept going on here between these two things?
Well, a lot of the motion-based stuff really just comes from my brother who produced track 2 on Test Drive Checkerboard, and also a good amount of Speedway too. He just sent me a file that just said that for like a song that we ended up not using. And for whatever reason, I've been really into I was really into the White Stripes and like more so Jack White in particular around this time.
Yeah.
And I was paying attention to how he carried himself and how strict he was about like, yo, it's the White Stripes, red, white, black. That's it. Like it could be anything, it could be patterns, but like red, white, black, like you're in uniform. And so I started thinking about like, what would my uniform look like? So I was like, all right, like what is like an easy way to kind of like plant sort of like this visual brand or like this visual imagery that's like connected to this project in a way that's not like gimmicky or corny, and also cheap, because you can find checkered pattern anywhere, like a checkered version of anything. That was really the biggest reason why I kind of went with
I
that
feel it. Yeah.
and stuff. I was like, all right, then I can get checkered pants, checkered bandanas, checkered Chuck Taylors, and all this other shit. So yeah, the concept really just came from Speedway was very quick. It was like 5 tracks, 15 minutes, but I wanted it to feel like it had the weight and the arc of like a full album stuff. So yeah, Speedway is really just about like, all right, give you a few songs. This is gonna be a quick experience. That's it. And then so it's supposed to represent like fast pace, like a fast pace nature. And then Test Drive is where it's a bit more at a moderate pace and stuff. Because I wanted to give space for there to be more smooth production and just kind of just set the stage for just the audience to learn more about myself and my whereabouts and where I come from. But I wasn't going to do that over beats that were going like 200 miles per hour.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least like the project felt like it was going that way. So like it's really just like, all right, Speedway was quick and fast, but now like Test Drive, it's more of a slow, lukewarm ride, but it's still like enjoyable in its own way. That's completely separate from Speedway. So it's like they're sisters in a way, but it's like couldn't be more different in terms of like kind of like the sound that makes up what it is that makes the both of them, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, nah, like yeah, because especially since you kind of split Test Drive into two halves, where like the first half is checkerboard and the second half is chessboard, you know, like simple, complex, pretty self-explanatory, which I love. I think that's really great. And you know, like the thing that's really interesting to me about Test Drive as an album, especially compared to GVMT and to Speedway, is like this very much, you know, like those two projects felt very much like I'm gonna make this kind of music like this way, and Test Drive is more like I can do these 5 or 6 things. Like listen to me do these 5 or 6 things. It almost feels like a sample platter of like this is everything Reg Mason can do. Like I mean like I can do shit over like slightly drumless loops. I can do like kind of sort of more traditional boom bap type shit. I can do like a triplet flow. I can sing. I can do funk shit. I can do kind of sort of rock inspired shit. You know, like there's a lot of different styles and a lot of different flows and a lot of different sounds on this album. And of course, on top of that, it's like super autobiographical. You know, like we've talked about him before, but this reminded me a lot of like listening to Topaz Jones's Don't Go Telling Your Mama, like just like in the sense that like it's so much not even just about you, but about like the place you're from, being Jersey. You know, like it's like a very region specific type of album, you know. So like what was it like coming to this project and like coming with all these sounds and all this story and just like finding yourself in that middle? You know, like there's a lot going on here.
Honestly, I would probably just have to say that I wanted to make this album for 10 years straight up because like I remember hearing a record, it was this one record, Skeleton by Aesop Rock.
Yep.
To this day, one of my favorite albums like that I've ever like purchased and stuff.
It's a great album, yeah.
But I remember like it had this specific air to it where it wasn't completely depressing. It definitely wasn't a hype record that you could put on like at any time. It was something in the middle where it was like it felt isolating. It was like I felt like I was listening to a man go into the woods and just go full JD Salinger and just like cut himself off from the world and like give a soundtrack to like his psyche during that time. So I was really interested because I'm a big fan of like contrast. Like I think contrast is one of the easiest things that you can implement in any sort of artistic imagery or whatever, and you'll get results from that pretty quickly.
Totally.
Even with how it even comes down to how the track list is stylized. If you look on like Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and on Speedway too, it's like one track's all lowercase, next track all uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, which and then is like kind of like another like a byproduct of the checkered thing where it's like white, black, white, black, white, black.
Right.
And then if you want to zoom out even farther, it's like, oh yeah, half of Test Drive is like kind of more traditional. The other half of Test Drive is me doing what the fuck I want, and it's more like sample oriented stuff. So it's like all it is just like contrast and just being obsessed with that and implementing that in a really easy to understand way, while also it has its own details where it's like if anybody that's looking for more, they could find it outside of the music too.
Right. You know, like there's so many little details just like in the lyrics and in the beats and everything. Like I love the beat for Cute. It's one of the smoothest things I've heard all year, and having that be like a hidden track at the end. Like, I'm a sucker for hidden tracks. So like it was because like when I heard it at the listening party, like it just kind of happened and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's like there, but it's not listed on DSPs. And I was like, okay, I see what you did there. Just like
Also, one
Yeah.
other fun fact: a big reason why we put Q at the tail end of it is because me and Curtis are from the area code 908, which is like a lot
Hey.
like Union, Linden, and stuff. If you look at sequel, it's 9 minutes and 8 seconds long.
I just noticed that when I was looking at it before, because my fucking phone number starts with 908, so I get it. I get it. You know, like like I heard you shout out 908 a bunch. Obviously, like 973. That's like Montclair and Newark, and like like this is like I'm coming at this from the perspective of actually being exactly from where you're at. So like I know. So it's like I know all the references, I know all the area codes, I know what you're talking about. So like like so like obviously that resonates a lot with me. And another thing that really resonated, just considering all the different kinds of music you've made and all the different like even considering that you're in like your mid 20s and you've already lived a couple different lives musically, like there's a bit on why am I forgetting the name of this song? There's a bit on Fearful where you're talking about the label telling you that your music is too broad.
Yeah.
Like that. Like that's just like a like you made this project on your own. You're doing it through your own. You're doing it through your own label and through your own collective and on your own terms. And you're building something for yourself. I don't know what's vibrating under me right now. What the fuck?
No, you're good.
I have no idea. Anyway, sorry, that just completely fucked my train of thought up.
Yeah. We talking about like label trying to tell us that the music is too broad and us doing it on our own terms.
Right. Yeah. So just like doing that on your own and putting this project out, like, how does it feel to look back on it and be like, hey, these people weren't feeling it. I did it anyway. I did this. Like how does it feel to look back on that and just be like, I took a chance? Like, how does it feel to take a chance on yourself and like actually do what you think like reflects you as an artist?
It's not too far off from what I've always done, because it's like growing up, like I was asking kids if they wanted to be in bands at like age 10, where everybody was like playing with Bakugans and not thinking about that shit at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always very much used to being kind of like self-sufficient in that way, where it's like just dealing with people where it's like, why are you doing that when you should be doing this? Like follow the assembly line. And so, I mean, like I was dealing with that at like a young age anyway. So it doesn't really make much of a difference listening to it from a bunch of suits. Like it's like that you come to expect that from really just humanity, because it's like we all just aim for comfort is like one of the best feelings that one can have, but to
Right.
like, go against that and in the face of adversity, it's quite literally second nature to me. So it's like regardless of what's going on, like I know I'm always going to make records, I'm always going to do it in my way, and I'm just gonna leave the door open for like really cool stuff to happen that's out of my control to like come into orbit, while also remaining true to the piece of music that we're making here, because this music is gonna outlive all of us, so I got to
Right.
make sure it's good.
Yeah. That's a really scary thing to think about. Just like the shit that you create is gonna like outlive you, and just especially since we're all on the internet, it's just gonna be like out there and somebody could just find it. So like, man, it's yeah. So just like now that this is done and that it's out and that things are starting to move a little bit for you, like look like a year from now, what do you hope to have accomplished now that this project is out?
I would love to go on tour. I would love to go on tour. That would be such a dream come true for me, because it wouldn't be my first time. I mean, I've toured before, not as myself. I was playing bass for this indie rock group that's also kind of based out of a little bit of Montclair, a little bit of Woodland Park, called Hit Like a Girl. And
Mm-hmm.
we went on like a 25, 30 date tour, like late 2021. And that was pretty cool. But a year from now, I would love to tour the record. I would love to get like some proper like vinyls in for it, because I'm a because I love physical distribution of art. Like I feel like it's so important to like give people a chance to support me in that way where they can have something they can hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm probably going to be halfway through another record. Uh, that's going to be the follow up to this. That's going to completely different sound. And yeah, I think from my perspective, it's more so just I don't know. I just want to be like really, really comfortable. You know, like wherever it is that I'm doing. I know that definitely it's going to be like I don't really know how to say it. Like I know definitely it's gonna be some ups and downs and a bit rough at times, but I think that as long as I got, you know, like I don't know if you're religious or anything, but it's like as long as I got like the good grace of the universe in my life, I got my peoples who have like absolute best who have my absolute best interest in mind. I think everything will be good. But but a year from now, touring, vinyls, halfway through another record, I would love to have my own place. That would be fantastic. And I'm gonna be jacked because
Hey.
I mean, definitely after this hand heals up, I'll be able to get back into. Yeah, I'm gonna be jacked and just traveling a lot. So that's what
Hell yeah.
that's what I want.
Those are all great things to want. I feel you. Before and before we wrap this up, there's been something that's you know just like just like in general, just like the thought of listening to older stuff as like someone who's just like being younger and listening to older things that you weren't necessarily alive for, whether that be like LP or any of the older hardcore punk shit you were listening to. There's just been a lot of conversations, I want to say over the course of the last like really over the course of the last couple months about like what Tyler the Creator said about like people kind of like listening to older stuff because they feel like they have to, and just like not forming their own opinions, which I think that's kind of like a reductionist take, even though like people do that, but like it's annoying that it's annoying that we're at the point where we act like children and like teenagers and like younger people in general aren't discovering things on their own.
Yeah,
You know, and like going back and listening to older stuff and like, because, you know, like I did that, you did that, like, you know, like it's I like just like talking to you for the last almost 2 hours now. Like that's kind of been like a big that's just like been on the forefront. That's just been at the forefront of my mind, just like considering like the type of music you make and the person you've become. So like, you know, like as someone who's in their mid-20s and is, you know, like moving through life, like do you ever find yourself kind of looking at people like slightly younger than you and like being impressed with like how much they know, or just like I like I'm asking this completely off the top of my head, so I'm trying to like form the
yeah,
question,
yeah.
but
It's
like
kind of like almost like expecting younger people to know less in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, you know, yeah, because like I don't like to I don't like to assume that about anybody, you know, like obviously we're all different and people's priorities and just like tastes in general, but like yeah, or actually no, here's a better question. Speaking for myself, I find myself more willing to want to discover shit as I get older, whether that be old or new. Like I feel like my mind is way more open now than it was when I was a kid. I was kind of a snob. So there we go. As you've gotten older, do you feel like your tastes have expanded or retracted a bit? Like where
That
are you
is
at with that?
that is a brilliant question, Dylan. You really found a way to wrap that around into a bow. I'm like,
Thank
wow.
you.
I had to sit back a little bit after hearing that. Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. I think that I'll always have I will always have like the yearning to want to listen for like more stuff. It's like you could even ask like Chris, like whenever we get in my car, man, like I know two tracks are the same. It's like I might play Ka to start off, you
Let's
know,
go.
and then I'll make a left turn and play some Sophie or like some Dylan Brady, a Hunter Gex type time,
Yeah.
and then I'll swerve the car back onto the road with some I don't even know, like Tori Moi or I don't even know, And then after that, you might hear me play like 10 minutes of, I don't even know what's like some obscure like Swedish metal band like Opeth or something like that. You
Or
know?
fucking like Meshuggah. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, like groove metal or something. So it's like it I don't know, like I will always want to like look for more because like even before I even not even before I'm trying to figure out how to say it. It's just like I really take like journalism, especially like in music, like so serious as kind of like an offshoot from the blog era because that's how I got a lot of my information on who I wanted to listen to from. So I feel like that desire to always look for more isn't really going to go away. But I will say that through me being an active contributing member of like the scene and like giving out music, it is difficult for me sometimes to break away only because like whenever it's time for me to make a record, I am so tunnel vision and that's the only thing I'm thinking about until like the day it comes out. Like
Right.
so it's like, ugh. But yeah, I always try my best to remain like really open minded and always looking for more because you never stop learning as a human. It's human nature.
Right. Yeah, no, it can be difficult to get out of your own bubble sometimes, and just like it's like and, like as a writer, I kind of get that because like there's stuff I got to focus on because like I'm covering it and I can't really go do anything else, and then there are times when I have no work to do and I can just kind of let my mind wander and just like go discover shit. Like like one of my favorite pastimes has just been like playing a game that I like know well enough that I don't have to have the sound on, and then I just
Yeah.
like just go listen to like 4 or 5 projects that I haven't heard yet, like whether they be old or new, and just like get immersed in that. Like it's a really difficult balance to maintain, and one that I feel like nobody has like an easy answer for. It's like it's all circumstantial.
What was the last record you listened to?
What was the last record I listened to?
Yeah.
The new Icy Twi album, actually. Yeah, no,
I like Ice Twice.
yeah, no, I think it's called Final Boss. I'm reviewing it, so I went and I went and like scrubbed. I went and scrubbed a little bit of it. Actually, matter of fact, I didn't officially finish that project. So like the last like full album I listened to front to back. Let me take my where'd my phone go? Here it is. Because I was gonna look on my Spotify shit, but or I was gonna look on my computer, but I can tell you better off my phone. So I'm gonna give you an old one and I'm gonna give you a new one. The last old record I listened to all the way through was Eugene McDaniel's Headless Heroes of the Apocalypse, because I was it's this if you don't know, it's this incredible like R&B soul record. I think it's from 1971. Yeah, it's from 71. um 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 Injury Reserve, my family, shout out to them.
They were
They
talking
did.
about it.
Yeah. Now they were talking about it in the interview with Harmony, so I went back, and it's been a while since I've heard Headless Heroes, but I was like, let me go re-listen to it, and
By the way, shouts out to them for their fantastic new drop. Like, yeah, I played Double Trio like
oh man.
75 times at work yesterday. Oh my gosh, this is getting me through it.
No. Double Trio is crazy. Also, they're called Bystorm now. Like I've fucked that up. Yeah, shout out to IR, shout out to Bystorm, shout out to Harmony. That interview was great.
IRBF, all that.
They're great. But the last like something newer that I've really been stuck on. It came out last year, but the Cash Cobain Chow Lee album, Too Slizzy, Too Sexy. I've been stuck on that a lot.
Bro,
I'm so
Jersey
I'm so
royalty.
yeah, man. I'm so gassed on everything Cash Cobain's been doing. I love his production style. I love how like honest and horny this album is. Like it's great. Like everyone's just like ready. It's
Yeah.
like it was all I was listening to on my way to Chicago, and it's all I listened to on my way back. So like I've been stuck. I've been I don't know why either. I've been stuck on that a lot. And
Yeah. Cash Cobain and Charlie, they're great guys. They're really good at what they do.
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. No, so those are the I could list like 20 others, but those are the two that have kind of left a really big impression on me for now. I have a playlist that I update with like all my favorite songs. whenever I hear them. So I just kind of add shit to that.
I'm trying to remember what was the last like older record that I've heard. I'm trying to remember. There's it's probably a band. Now I got really sit back and think about it. There's this hardcore band that I'm obsessed with called Trapped Under Ice.
Yeah.
Yep. And they put out like it's old, like obviously like at this point it's like a modern classic, but Big Kiss Goodnight by Trapped Under Ice. They had Chad Gilbert from Newfound Glory produce.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had him from Newfound Glory produce that record, and everything about that record is just so killer. Like the bass is warm and textured and groovy. The guitar lines, the melodies that they choose, it's great. But they are never a slouch in their intensity. So like I've been obsessed with that, and the newer records that I've been listening to, I think the last newer record other than mine was probably, damn, I gotta think about this one. I've been on a huge hardcore kick lately, so it's like I'm trying to name a band that I think people would like actually know.
I feel you.
Fiddlehead is like this one band that like I'm obsessed with as well. They make kind of like post-hardcore / like indie rock with like a little bit of like emo turns to them. They're putting out a new album called, I think, Death No Longer Belongs to Us or something like that in like a few weeks, and I'm obsessed with them. They make really, really kind of like positive, like cathartic, like hardcore music, which is kind of refreshing because you don't really see that too often. But
Yeah, you really don't.
Yeah, but the writing is great, and yeah, like so those are my two obscure picks for like albums that I've heard recently.
That's crazy. I've never heard of Fiddlehead, so I'm gonna definitely tap in. And what was the Trapped Under Ice album you mentioned just now?
It's called Big Kiss Goodnight.
Big Kiss Goodnight. Okay.
Came out in 2011. It's killer.
That's tight. All right. Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely add that to my list. Before I ask you this last question, you just reminded me that I haven't listened to it recently, but I've been I'm a big Circa Survive fan.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Fucking Blue Sky Noise is one of my favorite albums ever made. I just wanted to say that. Like like my homies at college. I think it might have been Sean in particular. So shout out to Sean. He put me on to that album. Just like, man, I love, like they toured it for like the anniversary recently too, and I missed it. I was so upset. I'm so mad I couldn't be there. But I love, yeah, for some reason that just made me think about Circa Survive's Blue Sky Noise and how much I love that album. So shout out to Circa. They're great.
Anthony Green, he knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah, man, he's something else. That and all the Sound of Animals fighting shit. Like, yeah, I'm tapped in over there.
Yeah, I feel that.
Damn. So to end this off, Reg Mason, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
It would be about a young black brother from the slums of Union, New Jersey. just trying to make his way in the world on his own terms and keep his head above water. And then eventually he does, and then he assumes a new role where he helps other people make their way and keep their head above water.
Hell yeah. Fucking yeah, no, you gotta keep the rain cycle going and give back. That's
from a small Ninja Turtle to Master Splinter. That's
come on now. That's exactly it. Damn. I love that. Reg, thank you. This was so great, you know? Like I'm you know, like you're like I'm fairly why am I getting tongue-tied? I'm fairly new to everything you've had going on like over the course of the last couple of years, but like I see the vision, I see just like your conviction and your talent, and just like it's great. And I'm really excited to see where you take this now that like more people are starting to pay attention, you know? Yeah. So it's just like congratulations on everything, and just like thanks for being here, especially if you broke your fucking hand, son. Like I can't get over that. Like like I was ready to push it to tomorrow or whenever you felt better, but like
I wasn't missing this for nothing, man. You said 2:30. It was like, all right, I'll be there. I'll be there maybe like 7 minutes late, but it's like I'm here. Now it was crazy because I literally like when I got here, they wrapped it 15 minutes ago, like prior. So
Wow.
yeah. So this is settling now. Now it's chill. Good
Damn.
stuff. I'm glad I'm glad to be here. Like it was a long time coming for me personally, and like this is definitely like some bucket list shit, like for real.
Oh
So
man.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh man, that means so much. Like, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm really happy to have you like kicking off the mid-season premiere and just everything. Like, yeah, this is yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see where you take Test Drive and where you take the rest of your music, and just to see where VWL goes from here. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Because whatever comes after this, the shit not gonna sound the same.
come on, man.
I mean, I don't never make the same record twice. So we gotta do something else. I'm Bjork.
Let's go. Yeah.
Come on.
What era Bjork are you in right now?
Right now, I'm definitely on some like well, I know for the next record, I'm definitely gonna go homogenic. But
Oh wow. Okay.
honestly, I did not debut for sure. Because I feel like in terms of like the way that it looks and like what she was talking about and stuff like that. Like it's funny, I was actually just listening to pick the Big Time Sensuality like a couple days ago, and I was like, yo, this song
Wow.
cry, bro. I love this song so much. But I'm definitely a mix between like debut Bjork and what's the one where she made an entire album out of like mouth noises?
Oh, I don't remember.
Was it like Vespertine
It was Vespertine. Okay, I think, right.
or what? Maybe the one after that. Whichever was the one that she had that damn birds and that's on her face.
Oh, I don't remember. I
And
don't
she
remember.
had a whole album made out of like mouth noises or something like that. I'm like in between like debut and that
Okay,
for sure.
so you're a ways off from a group like Death Grips sampling all your shit and turning it into Niggas on the Moon, is what you're telling me. Okay.
By the way, I love Niggas on the Moon, but like
Yeah,
that record's crazy.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite Death Grips project. Like,
Really?
like that isn't the Money Store. Really, the Money Store and No Love Deep Web. It's like
Nope.
it's like them three.
No Love that's my personal fave. Like specifically Lock Your Doors sounds like the end of days. Like that sounds like the rapture ain't coming. It's here, nigga. Like when you put
Right.
that on. So yeah, big fan of Death Grips. I'd probably say my top three, just quick, like on their discography. Definitely No Love Deep Web, uh Powers That Be, because On GP has gotten me through so many rough times. And Money Store for sure.
Man, I break mirrors. I break mirrors in my face in the United States is one of my. It's not one of my favorite songs ever, but I always lose my mind when it comes on. It's just one of those. It's just like, it just sounds like the end of a panic attack to me.
Yeah, and Bottomless
Yeah,
Pit has some jams too.
I still haven't heard Bottomless Pit. I think I think the last full Death Grips project I heard was what was the Jenny Death was the one where they brought the two of them together, right?
No, that was Powers That Be. Jenny Death. Oh wait, no, you're right. Jenny Death was like the tail end of the Powers That Be. Like Powers That Be was Niggas on the Moon and Jenny Death together.
Okay, right. There we go. Yeah, I always forgot like what the other thing was. But yeah, nah, like shout, shout out to Ride and Zach Hill and all of them, because yeah, their live show is nuts too. I don't know if you've ever seen a Death Grip show.
Oh, the year that we performed, they were there.
Oh no shit, crazy.
Yeah, I got faded by MC Ride. To be honest, I was like, hey yo, so like if it's cool with you, can we take a photo? And he was like, nah. He didn't say nah. He actually said way more than that, but I was like, you know what, it's all good.
I feel you.
Now, I mean, that's the price that you pay for like being a fan of like such eccentric people. That is kind of like whatever comes out of this, like I'll accept it. We chilling.
Right. Yeah. Just the acknowledgement's good enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, no, but no. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's been like really like a dream just to be able to like because I love shit like this, creating like an environment where like we could just shoot the shit and just talk about anything for like long periods of time. Like that's where my heart is. So I'm glad to be here.
Same, bro. I'm happy to have you. Thank you again. Like,
I would do the prayer emoji right now, but seeing as one of my hands is out of service at the moment, I'm gonna do this. On my own cast.
I'm fucking with that either way, man. I feel it. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.